Welcome everybody to Operation Charlie Fox Contributor Cast number 8. As you are all already aware, Operation Charlie Fox has already begun. The qualifiers have concluded and the brackets are posted and everybody knows who's going to be competing in the main event. So I thought this would be a very good time to get out another contributor cast, and one of the contenders from the main event will be present in this game. As you can see, Vindicare, a member of the main event, is going to be present in this game. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Do I know Having to Roger stream on his channel was banned? I heard that he got up to go AFK for a second during his 24-hour stream, and he put up like a Be Right Back overlay, and the picture on his Be Right Back overlay was him with a gun in his mouth, and I guess that was a little too edgy. That's what I heard. I don't even know if that's true. That's purely from the rumor mill, so I don't know. I'm sure he'll get it back though. Fahu got his stream back, he's fine. I'm sure Rogers will also be fine, so I don't think there's any reason for panic. Hope my stream's gonna be next. I better be very careful about adhering to the Twitch terms of service. But anyway, let's watch this game. We're gonna see Vindicare versus Dr. Strangelove. Vindy with Brits. Brits of all factions, a faction that has just pretty much fallen out of favor in the tournament itself, but in auto match it's always fun to catch them. I wonder if he's going to be using them in the main event. We do still have to reassess our ban policy now that the hotfix is live and figure out what we're going to do. The Vickers, I think, for sure is going to be back in the tournament since it's been fixed. The infinite buff stacking on the Vet 1 bonus. So I'm almost certain the Vickers will be back in the main event, so that's good news. And we're going to see Dr. Strangelove's OKW in the south. We've got Commandos, Royal Artillery, and Royal Engineers, so standard 3 commanders versus Breakthrough, Luftwaffe, and Spec Ops, so standard 3 commanders from both players. Should be good. Vindy practicing with no bulletins, OCF style. I approve. I approve of this no bulletin strategy. I too play with no bulletins as a statement, political statement against the bulletin system. I've always advocated for its removal from the game. Clearly Vindicare is not about those silly bulletins either. Vickers takes up position in the house. The initial series of engagements is going quite well for him here. Forcing one retreat already and doing a decent job of taking map control. He has the left side fuel point. Depending on how this engagement goes, he may be able to keep it. And he's contending for the right side fuel point as well. Munitions control also his. Off to a very good start, and clearly his opponent is struggling to grow his territory. Pretty early battle group headquarters, not too early. I've been saying a lot on my stream lately that going with an ISG too early is the death of an already difficult Ober Commando West early game. So I think this, after 4 full Grenadier opening going into the ISG, is a much more sensible thing to do. And I guess we're going to see if that's true or not. All the nudity and cursing and drinking. The violence and blatant substance abuse, I know. I don't think my stream is gonna make it. So, things have quieted down. Very quiet. Platoon command is up, 5-man squads upgraded very early. Something I also like doing as Brits. I feel that it really helps. You wouldn't think that that one extra squad member would make that much of a difference, but it really gives your core just a lot more of a tough backbone. And it definitely makes British squads better than Volksgrenadiers, hands down, in pretty much every way. At long range, at short range. So definitely be a good upgrade to get early. And we're going to see a Bofors going up on the left side. Getting that up pretty quick. Bofors rush. You know, you don't see this that frequently anymore. Now that brace has been changed and everything, but it's good to see that it's still worth experimenting with the Bofors. I wouldn't want to see it completely removed from competitive play. Emplacements are kind of awkward in competitive play because they're emplacements, and at the extremely high level you'd think that they would be, because they're static, not that difficult to counter. They don't really offer a whole lot of mobility, so there's not a lot of like play and counterplay involved, but the brace ability and the barrage ability give you a way to react to the battlefield even though the unit can't move, so that's kind of fun. You can really tell that they thought hard about how to make the British emplacements dynamic and interesting as opposed to all the other factions emplacements, which you kind of just throw down and then that's it, but they're also much less of an investment. Incendiary grenade into the house right there. You can definitely feel the nerf. That squad, rather than dying immediately, is going to get away with 2 men remaining, so I'm glad that it's a very potent weapon, because it's still very expensive for Oberkommando West to have to drop 30 munitions on it. I did think it was a little strong, so I think toning it down was justified. But Oberkommando West still really struggling, even against Brits in the early game, which is not a good sign. But, to be fair, a lot of float here, manpower float from Dr. Strangelove. He'd probably be doing a lot better right now if he would have kept spending his resources the way his opponent has, dropping resources into tech, this emplacement, and stuff like that. 700 manpower in the bank for Strangelove. He is clearly making a conscious decision not to go ISG, maybe because he's tried it and he doesn't feel it works as well as it's hyped up to, or maybe he... just not his playstyle. I don't know. Maybe we're going to see him go straight to tier 4 into some Obersoldaten. He did pick Luftwaffe supply, but he has not fielded any MG-34s for whatever reason. He needs to spend that on something. Maybe he wants to go tier 4 into 2 Obers, but he can't find a place where he actually wants to put the truck. I don't know. But he's obviously going to get pushed off the map if he keeps stacking this manpower up any higher. As for Vindy, still no company command post. Just operating on the 2 infantry section, 2 Royal Engineers, Vickers, Bofors. He's going to start floating as well as he makes his way up in CPs. No commander selection from him yet, but he might drop 500 manpower on Commando Glider or something. Brits generally have no problem spending high amounts of manpower float very quickly if they choose to do so. Waiting for Fallschirmjäger? I could see that. He'll be at 3 CPs very soon. Generally, you don't want to get out too many squads of those, but they are very good against Brits. As long as you don't walk into a Bofors or anything. Empires win against the Royal Engineers over here on the right.
Causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Yep, there they are. Fallschirmjäger. Good call. He has gone tier 4 and gotten a Raketenwerfer. And I guess he wanted Fallschirmjäger more than he wanted Obers. I think once you have the option for Obers, they're the more cost-effective unit. But, either way, they're really very similar squads. Late retreat on those Volksgrenadiers. They're lucky to get away alive. Fallschirmjäger finished capturing the point and jump into this green cover position. I guess that they get the cover right there. That model didn't. These other 3 do, though. Ooh. That was a bundle grenade right there. I kind of missed it, but that got him some kills, some XP. He's gonna have Vet 1 on that Fallschirmjäger squad already, and he just picked up a Vickers over here. So now he'll have access to the frangible grenade. And if he can just snipe one more model off of that squad, he can prevent recovery of that. Ooh, doubling up on Fallschirmjäger. That's a risky play. That's a lot of manpower to do that. He saved up a lot of manpower float in the early game just so that he would be able to do this, though. So definitely no oversoldaten for him. Double Fallschirmjäger is a strategy I've encountered myself in auto match a lot. I don't know if I think it's great, but it seems to be popular. It's just very expensive, and you have to make excellent use of them. Pretty good start for this squad, forcing a retreat, almost picking up a wipe right there. Meanwhile, on the left side of the map, just light engagements. Volksgrenadiers generally winning against Royal Engineers because Vindy has gone with such a weak core. He's kind of struggling now. And Dr. Strangelove is going to start taking control of the entire map, having gone hard into Fallschirmjäger. You can just looking at this, you can see how much more powerful Dr. Strangelove is in the infantry game. But Vindy has unlocked the company command posts.
Our supply line's broken.
And he's also not picked a commander yet, so he could drop commandos. He's got a little bit of extra resources to work with.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Getting a little close to the Bofors there.
The enemy are attacking an emplacement. Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
Okay. Not sure what that was about. Big push coming for the for the Vickers right here. Incendiary grenade being tossed. That's going to clear the weapon, no doubt. Stern Pioneers working on this infantry section. Win that. Vickers will be cleared.
An HMG crew has been lost to enemy action.
Stern Pioneers charge into close range to finish and take the engagement. Artillery just got called in by the infantry section right there.
Capture point. They're trying to take it.
And company command is unlocked, so it'll fire twice as many shells, but I don't think it's really gonna hit anything. Centaur in production, finally. What's the reinforced cost of these guys? 26, still pretty expensive, only 2 less than Rifleman, so even though he's tried to be a little bit more efficient with the reinforcement and manpower bleed by going hard into Royal Engineers, trying to save his manpower that way, you can still see that even with only 31 PopCap worth of units that he's been maintaining, and he has not suffered any wipes other than that Vickers. So even only maintaining this 5-squad army, he has no manpower to spare as he's pulling his Centaur onto the field, whereas his opponent had a whole 1,000 manpower floating around that he could dump into double Fallschirmjäger. If you include reinforcement costs, 880 initially, and then reinforcing a couple models, that's about 1,000 manpower for this elite infantry add-on to his core, plus his 4 Volksgrenadiers, Raketenwerfer, and now he's got a stolen Vickers. So this Centaur has a lot of work to do, to turn this situation around. Off to a good start. There go the Sturms. Those Volksgrenadiers need to get out of the building or they risk getting one-shotted because it's even with the hotfix, it's still far too strong for its buildings. Here it comes. Get out of the building. There they go. He's very lucky that it didn't get off a full burst. Oh, it doesn't even matter. Those Fallschirmjäger just killed that Volksgrenadier. They blobbed right up right there and he couldn't get through. And in the blink of an eye, a 30 PopCap lead turns into a 10 PopCap deficit as a Raketenwerfer gets stolen and a Centaur picks up 3 wipes. And everything else is forced to make a full retreat back into the base. Locked, loaded, and fueled up. 10 kills. extremely low health, it will be forced to pull back to safety. This tank just has devastating firepower against infantry. I can't even think of anything comparable. Even a Sherman with HE shells is not usually able to inflict that much damage that quickly unless it gets a bunch of really lucky shots. I guess it's about on par with the KV-8.
We're losing a capture point.
So, Panzer IV on the field, that'll be an excellent counter to the Centaur. It's a shame it didn't arrive just a little earlier, because it would have had no problem hunting and destroying this thing. Couple Panzer Shrek shots going off. Bring it down a little bit weaker. The Panzer IV is going to make its way up the left side. Centaur plus Bofors, surprisingly enough, is actually probably able to slug it out with the Panzer IV, so they need to spread out. There they go. You know, I actually think it's kind of fun that the Centaur and Bofors have decent enough penetration that they can chip away at a medium tank. I don't think I would nerf the Centaur's anti-tank capability. I think that's kind of a fun aspect of the unit. I think I would instead try to just tone down its ridiculous firepower versus infantry. Because I do like it being sort of like an Ostwind, and it's able to do a little bit of damage to even medium targets. Panzer IV is eventually going to get chipped away at. It has to pull back to safety. Centaur also pulling back to safety, dangerously low. The stolen Rakettenwerfer moving up to take a shot right there would have finished it off, so he made the right call backing off out of that engagement. Go-to with 1,000 viewers? Who's Angry Joe? That sounds interesting. Is he like a huge Twitch streamer? Why is he playing Co-2? I wonder if Relic had anything to do with that, or if he just decided to check out Co-2 for some reason. Fallschirmjäger jump in the house right here. Oh, I was like, that was a weird grenade toss. The animation is exactly the same as a grenade. It really looks like a grenade. We made the right decision to leave that building. The artillery doesn't do very much damage to anything except ambient buildings, which it is quite good against. It really is. It stands a good chance of leveling ambient structures, because it fires so many shells. So if it's a really big target like this, clearly if he had thrown the flare a little more on center, he would probably gotten some better shots. But even without doing that, like, this building is generally very tough, but British base artillery is surprisingly good at getting rid of it. Centaur working the left side, plus mines going down over here. Vindy taking okayish map control is going to start getting some big fuel reserves up, but he hasn't made any further purchases, so he might be thinking of specializing soon. Oh, wow. I wonder how much he charges. That's cool though. I'm glad they're trying to hype their game up around this tournament. That's a good thing actually.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Centaur's up to 18 kills in 20 minutes. You complain about the DLC at the end? Well, he's not the only one that thinks Relic's DLC policy is a little over the top. Oh, by the way, I should point out the brain upgrade on these Royal Engineers. Trying to turn them into more of a long-range unit here as we go into the mid-game. Looks like it's actually kind of working pretty okay. With support from this infantry section here, they're able to stack up against Fallschirmjäger. Not being forced to charge into close range to engage is nice when you're up against Fallschirmjäger. So trying to transition that squad into a long-range squad, they're not going to be amazing. It's not as good as if he had gone infantry sections, but since they're more manpower efficient, and being able to at least do some damage to Fallschirmjäger, I think it's an interesting decision. He's the only person I've ever seen buy that upgrade on Royal Engineers, so I'm intrigued. He hasn't spent that much munitions on that, just one squad. His infantry corps is still quite small, in fact, up to 1,000 manpower now, and I don't know why he won't spend his resource reserves. Not sure what he's waiting for. He may not even be watching his resource counts right now because he's got 200 fuel in the bank. He needs to get that spent. Meanwhile, his opponent, still no tier 3, so no King Tiger happening anytime soon. There is not a lot of fuel in the bank. There's not a lot of manpower in the bank. This Fallschirmjäger, double Fallschirmjäger build is starting to bleed him out a little bit, I think. But he actually does have pop cap advantage right now, so he's not that behind. I don't know, if Vindy actually spends all of his resources, he'll probably be very behind again. Here it comes. Hammer specialization. So we might be seeing Vindy go for a comet.
The enemy's in trouble. Our hammer tactics are ready.
Hammer specialization is really quite good, even without the comet, though. The passive abilities that just activate on their own are really strong. Track vehicle and emergency war speed are both very nice. So I could see somebody going hammer and then not even buying a comet, but no, he will also be getting a comet, which is a pretty good tank. It's a little bit late to arrive, but once it comes out, definitely a very solid unit. That's exactly what I was talking about, by the way. That machine gun just got one-shotted. That's just absurd. I really, really hope they change that. I was hoping for that to make it into the hotfix. It did not. So, right now, if you're up against Brits, they have a Centaur. Just don't even put machine guns in buildings. You're pretty much just asking to lose that squad immediately with no chance to react at all. There will be nothing you can do.
You now have a new comet tank.
Well, he's probably never played the game before, so I don't think anybody has any expectations of him, like, shattering the leaderboards and taking the CO2 competitive community by storm. That's a very good point, Heroic Weasel. If you ever watch somebody with super fast micro playing the game, it's just like, tac map, jump over here, give some order, Jump over here, attack map. Jump over here, attack map. Jump over here, attack map. This is pretty much what you're looking at all times when you're watching somebody really good play the game, and you don't really get a full picture. That's what my stream is for. You can just observe.
We've lost an anti-tank gun.
There's nothing easy about getting to the top 100 in this game if you've never played it before, Sage. I'm sure you, having played 6,000 games or whatever, don't even remember what it's like not to have ever played Code 2 before.
The enemy are determined, and we are down to 300 points.
Bolshevik made the mistake of getting inside of a building in front of a centaur. And they will spot the Comet, which is, I mean, it's been spotted. It's up to 7 kills now. And the Panzer IV, by the way, is still on the field and up to 11, and Vet 2, so it's doing quite nicely. Now that he sees this Comet right here, I wonder what he's going to do next. He's got the fuel for a Panther. So Panther might be a good call. Panther versus Comet is a very similar, they're very similar tanks. And I think that would give him the advantage as far as armor is concerned, since he'd have a Panther plus Panzer IV to a Centaur plus Comet, which the Centaur isn't going to do that much in a big tank engagement. He's able to do minor damage to the Panzer IV, but not... The more tanks start hitting the field, the less relevant the Centaur becomes. Against tanks, obviously. Against infantry, it will always be relevant. It's up to 33 kills already. Panzer IV shot bounces. A Panther shot would probably not bounce against the Centaur. I don't even know if that's possible, but he will go Jagdpanzer instead. I wonder why. If you have the option to go Panther, I don't know why you ever wouldn't. Comet brings the Panzer IV dangerously low, but a Rakettenwerfer wall is set up here to dissuade any overly aggressive movements. He needs to get a Panzerfaust down on that thing, or it'll just hold still right there and be destroyed. I wonder why Vindicare just threw it right there. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish. That was too much anti-tank. And a Centaur with almost 40 kills goes down. But the Comet is still doing clearly just fine. This should be a good map for the Jagdpanzer. I think Panther would have been better, but Jagdpanzer should get the job done, I think. Especially if he engages more on the left than on the right. But the right starts becoming very important in the late game as the victory points start draining down, because there's 2 of them over here.
A new infantry section is ready for battle.
This push making its way up the right side. Bolshevik squads are quite vetted right now. Artillery flare just got tossed. That might make this a somewhat dangerous area. It's not super dangerous artillery, but he doesn't want to have too much stuff hanging out in the blast zone if he can avoid it. So we'll pull back over here towards the right side. One squad of infantry hold up in this house as the Jagdpanzer and Panzer IV assist infantry in moving up the left and trying to retake this half of the map. And they're doing pretty well. Vindicare pretty much pushed all the way back. A lot of units forced to retreat into the base.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
And nice minesweeping here as well. He needs to get that mine cleared out, but he's going to finish repairs first. Couple squads making their way back out of the Oberkommando West base as the victory point up here is retaken by Vet 4 Fallschirmjäger, and a second Comet is being fielded, so both of them are starting to get out some very heavy-hitting units. They're hard-hitting units. Jagdpanzer plus Panzer IV versus 2 Comets, I think, comes down mostly to positioning, but the 2 Comets probably have a slight advantage because they both have turrets and they're both quite heavy. Well, I think it would be incorrect to say that Paul is a bad player, Sage. Paul may have never won a tournament, but he's placed in tournaments plenty of times. Oh yeah, and Paul won the Pacific Invitational, Tightrope Pacific Invitational, so... Thank you, Tightrope, for providing that counterexample. Is that a second Bofors? No, it's a 17-pounder. I've never seen one of these in 1v1. I don't think I've cast a single game where this has been fielded. At least not at high-level play, have I? Maybe I've seen it like once. This is an extremely unusual unit, and it's extremely high pop cap. This unit is 20 pop cap. That's so much. Why is it 20? Well, either way, 17-pounder going up on the left to completely shut down any tank movements, and the Jagdpanzer just went down, overextended itself into the British base. He wanted to kill that Comet so bad, and he threw his Jagdpanzer to try and get that done. And that was definitely an overextension on his part. He should have definitely slow played this a little bit, because his opponent, for one thing, just dropped 20 pop cap on a static emplacement on the left, not to mention the pop cap sunk into this Bofors. And he has total control of the right half of the map. There was no pressure on him to dive his opponent's base. And now he just lost his Jagdpanzer, but he will be able to replace it quite soon, so that's something.
Supplies looking a bit squiffy. Line's been cut.
Comet going in hard. It's utilizing emergency war speed, hammer tactics, super speed. Wow, that Panzer IV gets away with a tiny bit of health. I can't believe it didn't get destroyed by that shot. It must have received some tiny speck of repairs or something to... Wow, it just got Vet 4 too. Vet 4 Panzer IV. And I guess Vet 1 gives the Comet White Phosphorus. Is that what that is? Yeah. So the existing smoke shell is replaced by fire smoke, which is a really strong ability, actually. That's really good. Only 20 munitions for that, and your comet can just pop white phosphorus wherever you want. That's perfect for dealing with Folks Grenadier blobs.
All ready to go. Comet crew, awaiting new orders.
I wonder why we haven't seen this more, actually. It's only just now occurring to me that being able to just fire white phosphorus anywhere you want with a tank is really strong. I can't imagine a better blob counter
Comet tank
for a tank to have. But the Comet is, despite that, not very popular in 1v1. I feel like the Comet was designed specifically to have good defenses against blobs. It has a grenade and a white phosphorus shell.
We've been promoted. Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
This tank is a monster.
Damned enemies.
There's white phosphorus fired into the victory point to prevent capture. The AoE is not huge, but it will dissuade him a little bit here. Vet 4 Panzer IV has been fully repaired and is making its way back to the front line, rotating comets in and out. Over here on the left, the 17-pounder will be spotted, I guess. Oh, by the way, if you're floating manpower, this is a great option in the late game because it does not take up PopCap. It does provide the AoE buff to these
Enemy causing trouble.
emplacements. They'll have their garrison bonus even if there's no squad inside. 250 manpower gives you forward reinforcement, so it's kind of like a fuel cache.
The enemy cut our supply line.
It's a good zero PopCap manpower option if you're floating or you're PopCapped, either way. Ooh, they're gonna die. Why did they do that? Walked into Bofors range and then retreated past it. That was a highly vetted squad of Fallschirmjäger. That is an expensive and painful loss. This squad has 25 kills. The one that just died probably had something around that. I don't know if he can afford for that to have just happened. He has a new Jagdpanzer out. He keeps going in on Jagdpanzers instead of getting out a Panther, or even by now, in fact, if he had not gone Jagdpanzer initially, he could have gotten out a King Tiger. Which may or may not be the solution to the situation he's in. He could not assault this thing head-on, even with a King Tiger. But he could have put pressure on his opponent's base, or something like that. Vet 5 now on this Panzer IV with only 29 kills. It has been doing so much damage to his opponent's comets. This thing is probably better than a King Tiger right now. Its firepower and mobility, particularly, are going to be incredible. Has more sight range, more accuracy on the move, more everything, every stat. This Jagdpanzer is the unit that's going to need to play a little bit of catch-up because he is up against a Vet 2 and Vet 3 Comet, although I don't think the Vet 3 bonus is anything amazing. It has more mobility, but it also just throws grenades randomly, which is kind of goofy, but Folks Grenadiers have to run. But he will get the point captured. Getting sniped a lot. Not sure that's going to get away. Lucky Snipe could wipe this. Yep, there it goes. That comet grenade. Vet 5 Panzer IV going in hard. Oh, he's backing off. He doesn't like the Raketenwerfer right there, and the Vet 3 Comet's going to get away in a situation where maybe it should not have. Vet 5 Panzer IV also getting away, one hit from being destroyed. Stern Pioneers working the right side fuel point. And I think that was a Gammon bomb. That doesn't connect. As far as victory points, these players are dead even and continue to duke it out for the right half of this map, just back and forth. Neither of them can take a hold and set up a coordinated defensive line. This is kind of what happens in a game with no team weapons. There are no machine guns to force retreats. There's no AT guns even, except for one stolen Raketenwerfer. So both players just retreat, reinforce, heal, and push. They trade losses and damage. And then the other player does the exact same thing, retaliates, and the victory points swing back in the other direction. And because of these emplacements on the left side, there's not really much of an opportunity for Dr. Strangelove to work these points. Honestly, he could probably harass some over here on the left side a little bit. In particular, the VP is not in Bofer's range. But he's clearly committed all of his efforts to the right, with limited success. In particular, he has failed to take out either of these comets, and they have a combined 43 kills. I definitely disagree, by the way, that the Crocodile can just get you into the top 10 magically. It definitely cannot. It's a 12 CP unit. You definitely need an early game unit to be overpowered to just win for free all the time. If you're not an extremely good player, as Brits, you will probably just lose before your Crocodile hits the field if you're playing against top 10 players. So
One of our anti-tank guns is gone.
I disagree. I disagree quite strongly.
Bloody good shooting, Gunner.
What just died? Some squad just died right there to that white phosphorus round. These white phosphorus rounds from the Comet are very good. I'm surprised he's not spamming those like crazy. He's got the munitions for it, and they just guaranteed forced retreat on a full squad of infantry. It seems really strong. That seems immensely powerful. This Panzer IV is probably the only thing keeping Dr. Strangelove in the game right now. Vet 5 on this thing, it is a beast, but it can only do so much by itself. Its core of support is running pretty ragged. There are no Volksgrenadiers left at all. Meanwhile, this 5-unit British army has not suffered a single wipe yet. They are all maxed on Vet. And the Comets are almost maxed on Vet too. Vindy has almost got a completely maxed out on Vet army, which is something I'm not sure I've ever seen before. Not including his emplacements, I guess.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
See, look at that. Look how strong that is. For 20 munitions, boom! That squad must retreat. They have no choice. Seems quite accurate. Devastating damage, blocks line of sight, slow, all the other stuff associated with... Uh-oh. Comet's in danger. Panzer IV trying to blitz away to safety. Oh, Jagdpanzer shot! Bounces! Panzer IV taking shots at the Comet at range. It switches targets. Look at the range on that Vet 5 Panzer IV. Wow, I can't believe it's still alive. One Comet down. This one may not survive either. Oh, there it goes. Panzer IV shot bounces. Comet shot penetrates. The RNG scale tips back into equilibrium. And it is just carnage. Comet, Panzer IV, Comet, and the Jagdpanzer is the only thing left standing. But the infantry army for Dr. Strangelove has been shattered, and the British infantry army has the same strength it's ever been, and it's fully equipped with weapon upgrades, both Piats and, ooh, that one penetrated. That's a fun change of pace. Penetrated the Jagdpanzer, so that has to pull back for repairs. And the victory point situation looks like it will go to Dr. Strangelove, if only briefly. Fallschirmjäger working the VP over here. And this Vet 5 squad should have no problem winning against this infantry section. They are Vet 5. Surprised they're not closing into shorter range. Even at long range, they do excellent damage. The squad is forced to pull back.
An anti-tank gun has taken the field.
Fields himself a Raketenwerfer. Why would he get that? He just killed 2 highly vetted Comets. His opponent does not have that much anti-tank. His Jagdpanzer is probably enough for whatever his opponent's going to go next, which in this case will be a Firefly. So actually, maybe I'm wrong about that. A Jagdpanzer, even Vet 2 and Cloaked, could probably lose a 1v1 slugfest against a Firefly if it obviously fires the Tulip rockets, which it has purchased. So, I don't know. Maybe this was actually a good call. We're going to find out. Firefly moves towards the right half of the map, and the Jagdpanzer's hovering in the back. Sturm Pioneers leading the charge, with Fallschirmjäger doing decent long-range damage from the back. Force this retreat. This retreat will probably also be forced. The Firefly, having no anti-infantry utility of any kind, means that Vindy will probably lose victory point control on the right side again. Slowly creeping up with his Fallschirmjäger and Jagdpanzer. Firefly must pull back to safety. It doesn't have any proper support. And a Centaur is being fielded now. What was that? What was that? Something hit a mine.
Centaur ack tank ready and waiting for orders.
Oh my god, a full squad of Fallschirmjäger just died. Wait, both of his Fallschirmjäger squads just exploded on a mine? Is that real? Did that just happen? Holy crap, I can't believe I didn't catch that on camera. That might have been the most clutch mine ever. Oh no. And this squad of Fallschirmjäger immediately forced to retreat by the Centaur hitting the field. The Raketenwerfer also in danger. Here comes the Firefly to try and get shots off on the Jagdpanzer. I think that mine murdering 2 full squads of Fallschirmjäger is going to cost Dr. Strangelove the game. Unless this Jagdpanzer pulls off some sort of miracle and kills a Firefly and a Centaur within the next minute. He's trying to get a good Tulip rocket shot off, but I guess he doesn't quite like the fact that that Jagdpanzer is staying in motion. He gives up, satisfied with the damage he's inflicted, and he's actually taken a lot of damage in return. Sturm Pioneers are the only infantry Dr. Strangelove has remaining. I honestly think he needs to get some Volksgrenadiers out. He needs some cheap capping squads to beef up his infantry corps. Maybe go harass the left side victory point, which they could do unopposed. His insistence on purchasing only Fallschirmjäger for the last 10 minutes is costing him so much manpower, and they keep dying. They're great against this. It's not a very big amount of British infantry, and they're not super well equipped to deal with Vet 5 falls should this squad ever actually go to distance again, but I don't know. That mine. That mine is just... can't even believe that happened. Jagdpanzer just cannot seem to seal the deal here, but it has no choice but to move up into this engagement. Firefly just got a big hit right there. Tulip rockets might fire any second. No, he's not doing it. Jagdpanzer pulling back to safety. It's at half health. It cannot engage much longer. It just fell dangerously low. I think that Firefly might finish it. Here comes the Tulips. There it is, out of control, and the Jagdpanzer is destroyed. And with that, all of Dr. Strangelove's hopes for victory. Everything will be forced to retreat. Not whatever that is, whatever everything might be. Fresh squad of Fallschirmjäger fielded out of base, because there are no buildings left over here. This shed, this building, it's all gone. And with that, I think Dr. Strangelove knows there will be no hope for recovery this game. Well, this was an interesting game. This didn't do anything, which was kind of as predicted. I really feel that this needs a pop cap reduction or something. I don't know. I guess just by building it, he prevented his opponent from ever making a big push on the left side with tanks, so that's something. But obviously you can see he didn't have a whole lot of wriggle room in his forces for other units once he dumped 20 pop cap into that, 30 pop cap into emplacements total. And Dr. Strangelove looked like he was making a bit of a comeback. I think Jagdpanzer, even though I didn't agree with it, I thought he should have gone Panther. Seemed to do okay for him initially, but I don't know if he could afford the loss of his Vet 5 Panzer IV. He definitely couldn't afford the loss of both Fallschirmjäger squads on that mine. And that climactic tank battle between two vetted comets and pretty much everything in the Oberkommando West Army culminated in Dr. Strangelove falling a little too far behind, and Vindicare emerges victorious. And it looks like he definitely deserves his spot in the main event. In fact, he did not even pick a commander. Nobody can accuse him of utilizing overpowered features of the British forces. No Crocodile here, no Vanguard, no anything except the Centaur. He did one-shot a few things in buildings with the Centaur. Maybe we can let that one slide. GG, well played by both players, and Allies win. Alright guys, that concludes Contributor Cast number 8. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and more to come very soon. And of course, the main event for Operation Charlie Fox will begin in just a few days, starting on Saturday. I'm going to be casting Paul vs. Dev M, which is in Love and S bracket. I hope you guys are going to check it out. I'll see you guys there.